Okay, we're on reports and communications. Following reports and communication items are provided for the council's information. No action can be taken on items under this section unless the council agrees to include it on a subsequent agenda. We will start with tonight's city council reports with Councilmember Espindola.
Thank you, Mayor. It's nice to be the first because then I get the most of attention from my colleagues, I think. If not, well, the community will listen. I'm truly happy about the assignments with the new committees. I'm assigned to the Bi-County Homeless JPA, the Yuba City Center County Homeless Advisory Ad Hoc Committee. Those are two committees that go hand in hand. We have had no meetings since the last 2 weeks. The next is a new committee that I'm on, Feather River Air Quality Management District. This committee meets every other month. The North Sac Valley Integrated Regional Water Management Group. No meetings have been held as of yet. The Regional Water Authority, I have a meeting the following week, and or I think in 2 weeks. And the Sutter Butte Flood Control, I have a meeting the following week. I'm the alternate with the Local Agency Formation District, the Countywide RDA Oversight Board, and the Yuba City Transit Authority. I have no state committee reporting at this moment, but I did participate in a local community event, which I was really happy to have been invited by a few of the Board of Trustees through Yuba College. Yuba College Community College had a strategic planning meeting that they hosted and have done this regionally throughout the whole district. What they're looking at is what are Yuba College's weaknesses and opportunities. And I think this ties closely to what Marnie was saying earlier about the workforce. We had a long conversation about the community workforce. Some of the local opportunities that potentially may be identified is an expansion of a 4-year degree program in the areas of regional nurse or teaching. Those are two that are potentially going to happen. One of the concerns of why this is being brought up is because community members in Yuba City are less likely to hold degrees when compared to California residents. Our community has 17% of the area residents hold a bachelor's degree or higher. Let me say that again. 17% of our service area residents hold a bachelor's degree or higher, as compared to 33% of Californians. So there's a need for a higher level of education for certain jobs, in particular with registered nursing and teaching. Those two particular jobs are going to have voids in the future. And right now, as we know, with COVID, there's a strong need for healthcare. Other potential trainings that we talked about is fast tracking and doing some sort of hybrid in-person or virtual design programs with internships in specific areas where construction, with all the development that possibly is happening in our areas, with those specific trades and services, that was discussed. Agricultural science and manufacturing. There was discussion about COVID specialists and working closer with business entities to understand what that labor market may look like in the years to come. So I look forward to working with Yuba Community College in their future meetings to help strengthen the workforce in our community. And lastly, I want to acknowledge that this month is Black History Month. And I found this great letter that was written 44 years ago on February 10th, 1976. And it was written by former President Ford. And I found his words to be very poignant, and time still pretty much holds true. So I'm going to read this quick letter that he wrote in 1976, 44 years ago. In the bicentennial year of our independence, we can review with admiration the impressive contributions of Black Americans to our national life and culture. 100 years ago, to help highlight these achievements, Dr. Carter G. Woodson founded the Association for the Study of Afro-American Life and History. We are grateful to him today for his initiatives, and we are richer for the work of his organization. Freedom and the recognition of individual rights are what our revolution was all about. They were ideals that inspire our fight for independence, ideals that we have been striving to live up to ever since. Yet it took many years before these ideals became a reality for Black citizens. The last quarter century has fully witnessed significant strides in the full integration of Black people into every area of national life. In celebrating Black History Month, we can take satisfaction from these recent progress and the realization of the ideals envisioned by our founding fathers. Ideals envisioned by our founding fathers. But even before then, we can seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of our endeavor throughout our history. He finally says, I urge my fellow citizens to join me in tribute to the Black History Month and to the message of courage and perseverance it brings to all of us. And these were the words of former 38th President Gerald Ford. And they still hold true today, and we still have work to do. And I appreciate everyone. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Harris.
Yes, primarily my meetings consisted of SACOG-related items so far. I did have that meeting, as mentioned before, with Senator Nielsen advocating for the SACOG Green Means Go program, which focuses on assisting on a regional basis areas in their jurisdiction regarding infill, providing infrastructure, and housing opportunities. We're basically doing a barometer check and a refresher on that topic with the legislators as we come into this next funding round for the budget for the state. I'd have the same type of phone call tomorrow morning with Assemblyman Gallagher. I also, as a member of the Land Use and Natural Resources Committee on SACOG, we had our first orientation meeting for new members today, so I'm looking forward to being a part of that discussion as it continues. As a member of Regional Housing Agency, I did attend the first meeting. It was more of an orientation meeting as well. Have for lack of a better term, a ride-along schedule with Gus later this week, so we're going to jump in the car and we're going to put eyeballs on all the projects they have pending and they're hoping for. School liaison, that meeting doesn't happen until February 11th, the first quarter of this year. Yuba City Transit, the big topic, of course, is the site selection is in progress for their new facility. Yuba City is fortunate enough to have one of the 3 finalist locations within the city, so we're working on advocating for that. Not only, like I had mentioned before in the meeting, we have 2 different hats. We're on the boards. We have the regional aspect, so we want the project to succeed regardless. But then, of course, we're a little bit biased, I will admit, in that trying to put as much light as possible on the positive aspects of bringing that facility here to Yuba City. Yuba City Arts, so they're very happy, I'm sure they will be, regarding the contribution we made today. They continue to do some very good work, particularly in the wake of COVID or in the midst of COVID. Very busy, a lot of opportunities for more culture, virtually in some cases, distantly in person. They do a great job. The main thing in progress right now is a donation of the Sutter Theater, and Dave, help me, I'm drawing a blank on the organization. It's donating the theater. That's it. Thank you. So they're donating to Sutter Theater. So we're going to increase some budget and some staff and more opportunities, and they also have some worker space for artists in Yuba City over there by the old frame shop, Lee's Canton area, for some local artists to do their work. And then, of course, the theater itself will be a place to display their wares and have some performance. So a bigger footprint on this side of the river, we're excited about that. So many things on the horizon, COVID notwithstanding, but we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Kirchner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First and foremost, the last 2 Thursdays and Fridays, I virtually attended training that the city provided through the cities. It was very informative. I'm looking forward to getting to work with the different committees. The Animal Services committee meeting was canceled and postponed until April. One of the committees I am on is the mosquito abatement, and so I took the opportunity yesterday to go out there and meet with the manager, Stephen Abshire, who gave me the nickel tour, and that was very informative. And I look forward to working along with him and the other committees. Our first meeting with the mosquito abatement will be a week from Thursday, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you, sir. Vice Mayor Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It has been a busy couple of weeks. I'll start with the Yuba Center Transit Authority. I've got the honor of chairing that this next year. As Councilmember Harris said, you know, the big thing right now is the next generation facility. And we are fortunate enough to have one of the 3 finalist selections, and they will be coming to us at the next board meeting in February with presenting things. And I want to thank Ms. Langley and Councilmember Harris for sitting down. We've already had a good meeting, some good discussions, and they definitely know Yuba City is interested, but we got to see what the report looks like. So that could be a great booster for us here in our city, because it would move those jobs right across the river. You get the sales tax revenue, all these other added benefits, and it's right on their route. So it's, I think it's a good fit. We'll see where it goes, and I appreciate my fellow council member for helping me think outside of the box. So that's why we're here. The next one's the RWMA. Again, I get the privilege of being the chair of the RWMA. The big idea that's coming from that this year is we will be presented with a new JPA as it reinvents itself because of 1383. And so that's going to be the big item coming. So probably I would expect by March or April, we should start seeing the JPAs come before us, because they have to go before all the municipalities to get approved. And they're looking at hopefully bringing it back to the RWMA by midsummer. Also was on GSEC. We had a workshop this past Friday, gleaned a lot of information there. And then to follow that up, I've also on the Yuba Center Economic Development Corporation, and really getting that nexus of how these two organizations can better serve our community. And I'm looking forward to following up with Mr. Broom with some of the ideas that Councilman Harris, you'd brought forward when you were on that last year as mayor, and then seeing how we can start bringing some things to Yuba City. The EDC is going to be going through a rebranding. Love the idea of rebranding and telling the story. My only comments to them were make sure that we put some marketing behind it so the world knows exactly what they are doing as well. Let's see. Ms. Langley, you're going to hear it many times over the next few weeks. I definitely think you have earned the title of Master Cat Herder, because you have done an excellent job of herding all the cats that you've had to herd during this time. You've served us well. Thank you to your family for, I know, the numerous hours that they have loaned you to us, because none of us ever saw COVID coming. None of us saw none of the stuff that we've been hit with coming at us. But you have been professional, a gem, and I just want to extend personal thanks to you and your family, because you deserve a ton of accolades, and I'm looking forward to continuing working with you going forward. And I know you want to get back to your normal position, so but I just want to say thank you. The last two things, Bill, military liaison, I've started that process. To me, that's been quite refreshing because of veteran in the Air Force that was stationed at Bill. That's like the connection there. And then the arts, I did attend the open house for the theater, and a lot of good things there. I'm looking for the revitalization of that. They were talking about possibly being able to open by April timeframe and start having things down on Plymouth Street in the black box. You guys will understand when you go there what the black box is. And, it's looking forward on a personal note of, getting in and supporting them, how my family and I can. So that's my report for tonight, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. First thing, I've got several things here, but first thing is I want to thank the fellow council members. Obviously, you guys are attending a heck of a lot of meetings and bringing a lot of stuff back. So I know you're representing the city well, and it takes a lot of time, and all of you are all in on all that. So all of you, thanks. Also, I think it's important to reach out and thank the city staff for their response during this latest wind event, where we saw a lot of things going on. The police department, fire department, public works. I hope I'm not missing any that were contributing, but that was a big deal. And there was a lot of stuff going on that night, and a lot of great service provided to the citizens. So I really much appreciate that. Things that I've been involved with, another shout, I hate to use the word shout out, but I just did. Department scenarios. I want to thank our department heads. We tasked them with presenting to us ahead of a goal-setting session that we're going to be involved with the things that kept them up at night. What are the vital few that we really need to be considering as we move ahead in 2021, 2022, and very professional presentations. It was the needs, not the wants. A lot of needs out there, but it's good to have have some heads up with that. So kudos out to our department heads for their very professional presentations. As far as meetings, as I mentioned earlier, weekly with Dr. Liu, the public health director, to get updates on the latest from public health and the California Department of Public Health. Not always the most encouraging news when you hear about the dilemma of vaccinations, in addition to what former Councilman Cardozo mentioned, just the uncertainty of getting vaccinations for those who want them. And, not everybody wants them, but for those that do, not having a sufficient supply and having a rollout has been very problematic. Participated with the vice mayor on some interviews for our commissions. So we'll be continuing to move through that process. As far as meetings, the committees I assigned myself to haven't been as busy as others, but I'll be attending a SACOG meeting with Councilman Harris tomorrow. I will also be with Councilman Harris on a Regional Housing Authority meeting coming up this week. Very pleased to say that we have submitted the city's and the county's master tax exchange agreement for consideration and review by Sutter County. Major step that I hope we get to the goal line very quick. And at the end of this week, we're actually reinstating the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, which is 2 members from the city getting together with 2 members from Sutter County to just continue to work as closely as possible in the public's best interest. With that, that concludes our meeting. A lot of stuff covered tonight. Again, please know that the city staff is really working hard. I mentioned this today, and I know sometimes I take a beating because I want to acknowledge the city staff, but they really are working hard, and they really are providing service in a time when it's very difficult to do so with COVID and other things that come along. So I want to thank them for the work that they do on the behalf of the city. So with that, we'll go ahead and close the meeting.